Don't touch the Nemo!
He touched the butt.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Community Operations, a map designed by DICE in conjunction with the Battlefield community. So that includes YouTubers, big gamers, competitive multiplayer, anything like that. And I've kept up with this map in its making. I've been keeping up with a few different YouTubers having their play. I've seen, it's been cool. It's been cool to watch this map evolve, turn from an empty, weird, crappy little map. And then into something that was quite usable but very vehicle orientated. There was not many trees, there was not much cover, little things like that. And to what it has become now, and it is, as you can see, an absolutely gorgeous map. And it just plays magnificently. There's just so many cool little areas, so many little changes, so many ways around it, and it's just fun. And really, that's all games need to be. I thought I was going to hopefully do a full X4 series on this. If you haven't seen what the X4 series yet, basically I would play 4 games on Battlefield and try and reach a total of 40,000 points, so an average of 10,000 over each game. For me, that's something I might get, something I might not get, something if I'm having a good or a bad game. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be achieving on the score-wise. For you, that might be quite easy to get 10,000 points. That might be a piece of piss. For some of you, that might be quite hard, but for me, that's something I may or may not get, so that's why I was sticking around those points. So for this game, I didn't have the time to play 4 games to try and do a full X4 series, but I wanted to get at least one game up, and so this one I tried to reach 10,000 points just in this one game, and to make it a little more interesting for myself, I was playing it on hardcore. Now, I never play hardcore, and I'm not exaggerating when I say it. I reckon this is probably like my 2nd or 3rd game playing on hardcore. And so it was quite different for me. You'll probably see I had quite a few bad shots. I had quite a few situations that were just plain dumb. I was being a bit more wary. I started off as Assault. I had like half a game before I started recording. Of course, I wanted to get a full game recorded. I had like half a game on here beforehand that I went in as Assault and just couldn't do it, especially on hardcore, because I've really just been practicing with Assault. I had the Coyote on the Ace 21 CQB, and that's it's a bit of a different gun for me, basically, as in for years when I played this game, probably maybe the first year and a half this game was out, I found the Ace 21 and just used that. I used the Cobra sight. Lately I've been trying to expand, using other classes, trying to play some more recon, mainly some more Assault. I've been using more Assault rifles. I've been trying to get used to the Coyote sight. But of course, here on hardcore, I thought, I want to get these 10,000 points. Let's just go back to what I do, go back to what I'm used to, stick the RPG on. Already in that first life you saw, I got a couple of shots on a few vehicles. Stick the RPG on, go back to the Ace 21. I'm going to stick the Cobra on. Probably, as much as tactically, if I'm going to play competitively, I would use the Coyote. The Cobra's, that's just my favorite sight. It seems to me the perfect balance between a nice, not too small, not too big sized, scope, but then a decent sized red dot, as in every now and then, sometimes when I'm using the Coyote, I have trouble seeing that red dot, and it's a pretty crappy issue. That's why I've been trying to get used to the Coyote, but at the moment I thought, let's just go back to what I'm best with, and just stick with the Cobra. Also, you'll see I'm not usually with my X4 series videos, if I'm playing on Battlefield, I'll sort of just have any captures, have any kills, anything like that. But this game, I wanted to show you me running around, stuff like that. It's not going to be probably not the most action-filled video, but part of this was just to showcase the map and, present what we thought about the map. So one of the biggest changes, I think, was the fact that halfway through its production, mainly, it was more of a vehicle-orientated map, much like almost any other Battlefield map. And I think that's why I sort of probably enjoy the Engineer more, just through Battlefield 4 at least, in that a lot of the main maps on Battlefield 4 are vehicle orientated. And so if you're, Assault, if I was going Assault, or if I'm going, Recon or Support, then I don't have, basically I don't have my RPG. It's pretty much how I'm going to put it. And I don't have anything to combat those vehicles, and I think I like to let them know I'm there, and I like to smash them back. And so, for most Battlefield maps, Engineer was just too fun for me not to keep going back to. And so, playing Assault, I tried playing Assault in this map. Assault was really working well, as in this is a pretty good map for Assault. Obviously, it's just a cool infantry map. There's just not that much room for vehicles. If vehicles are there, there's tend to be a lot of cover, except for maybe at Echo and Charlie. Charlie, however, tends to also be dominated by snipers, so we'll go through the objectives in a minute. I reckon I'll probably move through those as we talk about them. But it was really cool to see the amount of foliage and trees just build up and up as the map's development just progressed even more and more. And it was cool to see everything that the community wanted being actually properly implemented. It was really cool. And just keeping up with something like this is really fun. I'd love to see DICE doing much more community projects such as this one. Maybe doing a couple of maps just like this for the next Battlefield would be cool. Maybe implementing more free DLCs like this, because I think in just releasing these free DLCs, so we've got the night maps coming, we've got community operations, things like that. Just before the next Battlefield, it seems to have raised the attitude of the Battlefield community. And brought a few players back. I know it's brought me back. I had a bit of a gap from. I've had a bit of a gap from Battlefield, I've been playing Destiny for quite a while. But these free maps have brought me back into Battlefield, and I'm just hooked again, and I love it. And I reckon things like these, more community-based development things, more free DLC, things like that to keep players interested is, it's awesome. I'd like to see companies like this doing it more. So here's that objective I was talking about at Charlie. Now you'll notice this is sort of sits between almost between a trench of just these two hills, just heavily foliaged, and those hills tend to be absolutely just governed by snipers and DMRs, and and saying that though, if you know what you're doing, it is possible to move from cover to cover there. I tend to use these buildings right here, and then probably crouch between buildings at the other end. Here's Echo. This is probably the most vehicle-orientated objective. This is probably the least amount of cover you'll find at any of the objectives at the game. Most of the objectives, do feature in saying that, damageable cover. So, you've got those small wooden huts and things like that. This one has probably, the biggest cement building. But apart from that, you've really only got these couple of little bunkers here with the, you've got the shelters that provide absolutely no cover at all. And so, this is the furthest away you'll get from an infantry-based objective on this map. But for the most part, even between objectives, you've got all these rocky and bushy areas. There's a few places I was able, especially on hardcore, just to hide in some of these bushes and wait for things to pass, wait for vehicles to climb past me, trying to, that was playing Assault in the previous game, just trying to experiment with the map a little, which is, really cool. It's something you're not able to do on a lot of Battlefield formats, and I reckon that's just plain awesome. I think a lot of more infantry-based maps would be absolutely perfect for Battlefield 4 at the moment. Hopefully in the next Battlefield, I'm really hoping myself to see World War II Battlefield for the next one. Hopefully we're able to get a lot more sort of jungly maps, or a lot more, just excuses to have a lot of cover and a lot of, infantry-dominated maps, because they're just cool. I think things like when you have maps designed intentionally for rush, and so you've got, Operation Locker or Metro and things like that. For me, they don't work too well in this, for Conquest, in that they tend to just get trapped. Operation Locker, for example, tends to just get trapped at Charlie and things like that. Those straight maps, although a lot of people find them really fun, in my opinion, they just don't work for Conquest. They're awesome for Rush, but, I think maps such as this, where you've got a big, wide-open map, you've got a lot of cover, a lot of foliage, a lot of places to hide, a lot of ways to move carefully around the map and actually think about what you're doing. It can only be good for the game. But not only has this map come in for free, but we had a big update that, I think was a bit big. I don't think many people talk about, but the upgrade to the points. Now, as you'll see there, I've just earned 400 points for that capture. That is one of them right there. I think DICE are trying to push forward a more objective-based gameplay from Conquest players. So capturing an objective will now get you 400 points once it's completely captured. Winning a game at the end of the game, rather than the 1,500, I think it's going to get you 3 or possibly 4,500. I can't quite remember. And these points are trying to force people to play the objectives. Well, not force people, but you get what I'm saying. They want people to be playing the objective more. I think the only thing that they've probably missed out here that they really should have done, and I've no idea why they haven't done it yet, as in they've had so many opportunities to, but just to stick the amount of captures in the scoreboard at the end of the game and, during the game. So they've got kills, they've got deaths, they've got the score. I'd like to see, the amount of captures that players have had up there. And I think that would be one thing that would simply push forward that playing the objective even more, in the sense that the reason that a good KD is, the main reason a good KD is, one thing people are after. because it looks cool. It's sat there on the scoreboard. Everyone can see it. If you go to the scoreboard at the end of the game and see that someone's got 72 kills, then he's good in a vehicle, or he's just a Call of Duty player that's just going around not playing the objective and going for kills. But it's impressive and it makes him feel awesome. If someone had 0 and 1, but then had about 40 captures, of course that's not going to happen, but you get what I'm saying. That'd be just as impressive, and I think it'd persuade a lot more people to play the objective a lot more. This objective here, I think this is Delta, I believe. This is one of those ones, it's probably the second most vehicle orientated, but as you can see, like I was saying before, you've just got these wooden huts that are completely destructible. But in saying that, there's also underneath these wooden floorboards, sort of like on Hainan Resort at Echo, you've got the boards and the planks keeping up that wooden platform, and so you've almost got this whole new environment underneath that housing area that I've actually had a couple of battles in. That's actually really cool, as in there tends to be a lot of wooden posts there that sometimes will provide you with enough cover, as well as the water and a few little thick bushes and plants and things. It's really carefully thought out, and I think it's really cool. You've got the one road spanning through just out to the left or so, just out to the west of that objective, and that can be often dominated by LAVs and tanks and things coming down the hill towards Delta. But often you can either hide yourself underneath those wooden housings, or if they haven't been completely destroyed yet, hiding amongst them will often confuse drivers and things like that. So even for that objective, even for that area, it's just as infantry based as almost some of the rest of the map. So here you can see me and my squad here. This is, I believe, at Charlie, and so this is on the other side of the road. In which case we had guys flanking, watching behind us. We had a few guys watching the hill to our left. It's really cool to see. I think the points have changed people's mind, as in people seem to be playing together a bit more, playing a bit more team play, playing the objective a little bit more. But it's in saying that it's only very slight. I think I think just things like putting captures on the scoreboard and stuff like that would make it a lot better. Now, is there anything I don't like about this map? Not really. I think it's a great testament to showing, what working with the community can actually do. As in, this is about as close to perfect as I think you're going to get on a Battlefield 4 map, in my opinion. Now, there are a couple of things, of course, things like, I think more access to quad bikes or something like that would be really cool. I found a lot of my time, especially on hardcore, running between objectives there's a few spaces where I'm coming either down roads or from, between across roads, between foliage and things like that. That was, running on foot was not too bad. Of course, it's still very infantry based. I'm not going to get nailed by vehicles. It was more so the fact that you're going to get a lot of snipers and a lot of people DMRs on this map, and I didn't really have much of an opportunity to sort of hide away from them, or just get to cover because there's a few roads and things you're going to have to make your way across, and stuff like that. It's not really a big issue. It's bugger all, but maybe if there's a quad bike or two at each objective or something like that, sometimes a few maps do that, and it'd be really cool. It'd help the guys playing the objective just to move around the map a little bit quicker, and maybe keep the pace up a little bit. But apart from that, it's a great map. It's really cool. It looks good. It plays well. It's a gorgeous map. It looks absolutely amazing. Some of the objectives, especially you've got the one with the temple. There's the under the staircase and stuff I was talking about, under those floorboards and things. But anyway, you've got the temple and things like that. You've got that waterfall that rushes over the front. You've got Charlie with just between that trench of those two mountains. It just creates for some awesome battles. It's a very, very well designed map, and I think it's great to see how well this has turned out. In that this is sort of what happens when you listen to what people want. It's going to make people happy, and it brings out the very best in map design and just game design in general. So hopefully they can take on board a lot of these tips and implement them into the map design into the next Battlefield. Hopefully we're going to see a lot more maps like this, a lot more infantry orientated or infantry based maps. Just a lot more we can work with, just a lot, because they're just fun. Look at that tree there to the right, just looks absolutely cool, just moving into this temple with the waterfall rushing over the front. That's just plain awesome, for crying out loud. That's so cool. Now, of course, vehicle-orientated maps, of course, are going to exist. One of the biggest things that makes Battlefield is the use of vehicles. Basically, you've got army realism, you've got actual, weapons and fire and different, gadgets and things like that. You've got destruction, and you've got vehicles. So, you can't really get rid of them. But, a lot more maps like this. Battlefield 4 saw a lot of maps that were just completely vehicle-orientated. You just couldn't do anything without being swamped by a chopper or a jet or a tank or anything like that. And so a map like this, where the actual infantry have the upper hand, is really awesome to see, and it's so cool to see DICE listening and creating such, you know, awesome projects such as this one. It's just really cool, and I hope we get to see a lot more of this in the next Battlefield. The point system is awesome. There's a few little tweaks, a few little bugs that have come with it, but of course that's to be expected from an update. So I'd expect another one not too long from now. But back to the task at hand. We were aiming for 10,000 points, and at the end of the game, I managed to scrape through just under 14,000 points, which for me is pretty dang good on hardcore. I wasn't expecting that. This is probably my second game on this map, and you know what? I absolutely love it. So I'll catch you later, guys. TK out. Thanks for joining me. Have a good one.